This one AI strategy helped us drive a ton more sales for one of our coaching and consulting businesses doing over 6 figures per month. And I'm pretty much going to break it all down for you in this video. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Leruo, and I've worked with multiple different coaches and consultants, helping them scale to 6 figures per month and beyond. And this video is quite special because I know how much hype right now is around AI, right? And how you can use AI as an accelerator in your business. And in this case, specifically in your coaching and consulting business, right? And so we applied one simple strategy that helped us, and we're pretty much just doubling down on this because it's so effective if you run a business that relies heavily on information, right? And so I've noticed that after working with a lot of different coaching and consultants is that there's really two things that people are usually buying when they're buying your coaching and consulting offer. They're buying the info and they're buying the accountability, right? Especially if you have a premium priced offer on the back end. So that's a high ticket offer, $3,000, $5,000, whatever that might be, right? People are usually buying information and accountability or a combination of both. So let's go into the situation of this specific business. Okay, so this specific business was already making revenue, right? So there was already a product market fit. It already had products that were working. And specifically, it had a lot of low priced offers, which I call low ticket offers. So that is like anything, like in this case, it's offers that are literally under like $200. In most cases for us, it's actually under $100, right? And there are a bunch of these low ticket offers that people can buy on demand and just buy, go through, consume. These are usually video courses, right? And and they can essentially go and watch this material, right? And so essentially this business already had these low priced offers, and they had this one premium offer, right? Which offered like more accountability. It's like the full blueprint. So the low ticket offers were more like these little like teasers or like tasters, right? And then the main product was more the full like suite and the full transformation, right? So even if you don't have a low ticket offer and you mainly, let's say, do some content, right? And you're mainly providing value in your content, then you can actually apply this exact same thing too, right? And so once again, we now at this point know that a lot of these coaching and consulting businesses mainly are focused on information accountability, and where AI comes into play is as a massive accelerator, right, of this info, right? And I've really realized that the more you can use AI to accelerate it, the higher the perceived value of your product becomes, and the better you can actually nurture people into that step, right? And so, for example, in this business right now, we had people who have bought these low priced offers and they were thinking about buying this main offer, right? They're kind of in this consideration phase of, I want to buy it, but I'm not sure. There's something holding me back. And a lot of the times for a lot of these coaching and consulting businesses, this is usually the case where you have the premium offer and you have people buying, but you could have more people buying, right? And so that basically leaves us with then solving our limiting beliefs, right? And the things that hold people back from buying the Ascension offer, right? And a lot of the times I've noticed that with limiting beliefs, the best way to attack them is to get people, yes, sure, of course, obviously to believe it. But what I love about when you use AI is it helps achieve speed, right? And so for the specific offer, it's a business offer. And one of the things that they get in the high ticket program is like a full strategy and breakdown that's going to basically lay out how they should approach their own scaling of their type of business model and everything, right? And they're going to get that in the high priced offer. And essentially that's guaranteed. They're getting that when they buy the premium offer. But a lot of the times people still have these limiting beliefs in the back of their mind subconsciously. And yes, sure, they can build trust with you over time and eventually be like, okay, I trust him enough to do it, but it still takes more time, right? And that ultimately then slows down how aggressively and quickly you can scale, right? And so what we did for this specific business is they built an AI around their high ticket offer, right? Which is something that I think everyone should be doing, right? You want to build an AI that understands your whole main program and what it's about, right? And so they created an AI, kind of like a mini version, right? That helped them through the one limiting belief that they were afraid of the most, which was, how do I is the strategic plan or blueprint going to actually work for me? Because like the thing is that at the end of the day, these are the things that hold people back from buying. It's these limiting beliefs and these fears that if this doesn't work out, then will the rest work out? And usually there's this big domino, this one thing. Russell Brunson's a guy who speaks a lot about this. If I can get people to believe just this one thing, then they will finally be able to do it. So what is the one thing that they need to believe, right? Or what is that one thing that might hold them back from belief? And in this case, for us, it was creating this like full strategy for them and that blueprint. They believed that we were going to provide amazing videos. They already bought the low ticket, so they had this basic level of trust, but they were just worried, will this actual strategy work for me, right? And that was the limiting belief, okay? And so the AI was purely designed to overcome this limiting belief, okay? That's very important. It was purely designed to overcome this limiting belief, okay? And the way that it was designed to do that was to actually use the knowledge of the main program and to actually help create that blueprint for this person, but it was highly designed to overcome the limiting belief. So kind of with the AI, it was actually created with ChatGPT. It's called a GPT, okay? It's very popular. You can just do some Google research and you can train it on your knowledge base and everything. And the goal of it was to really help overcome that limiting belief, but ultimately give them that strategy, right? We needed to give it to them so that there was a speed, so they could look at it and be like, okay, that is my direction. That's how it's going to work. It makes sense, right? And then they could go out there and be like, okay, now I get it. We gave it to our audience via email and organic, and people loved it, right? They were like, wow, okay, that makes sense. That's how I would approach it. And that was the one big thing that actually pushed so many more people closer to that final point of actually pulling the trigger. And we were able to actually increase our ability to make sales much, much more. And actually, I remember we sent out a few emails about this whole thing and that, hey, we're giving you access to our AI that's going to help you generate a certain dream outcome, that micro step of the big program. And it's going to do it for you in just minutes. And they went out there and they did it. And the AI helped as an accelerator, gave them that speed, and then most importantly, was combined with strategy, right? Because I don't believe AI is something that you can just say, hey, do this, and it automates everything. The goal is to have strategy, a process, and have AI come in there and help you to do that much more effectively, whether that's internally in your team or even facing the client, like in this case, or facing the customer, right? So ask yourself, right? With my current clients, what are the limiting beliefs that they have that are holding people back? And how can I use AI to help me accelerate the information-based side of this? And in fact, you can even have and train the AI to kind of know you, speak like you, so it can even give this little bit of accountability feel. So it feels like, oh, I'm using Leruo's AI, right? And I know like Leruo's it's more like got this Leruo brain to it, right? And so that's a very, very important thing that we did to actually help AI. So we actually used it as an accelerator to help overcome these limiting beliefs, right? And so that's strategy plus AI, which I believe is the correct way to actually get AI to help you do things much faster. You take an approach that works and you just use AI as an accelerator to just help you get done much quicker, much more effectively. So that's pretty much it for this video. This is the exact AI strategy that we used that helped us get a ton more people from our low priced offer into our premium offer. And we actually shared that with them via email as well as organic content, because we actually run ads and a lot of people follow us organically and then they just engage with the content and everything. And so essentially that's where we nurture them. We're like, hey, we've got this cool thing, you want it? And then it engaged these people. It kind of engaged them. It got them going. Okay, let me go, right? And so this is a huge thing you can do to lower the amount of time right now that it takes for people to build trust to buy a high ticket offer, right? Is think about the limiting beliefs you can overcome and use AI to help you accelerate that and take out the strategic thinking that will be required from someone and that fear of failure that they might have in themselves. All right, guys, so that's everything for this video. If you want to see more content on strategies we're using to scale coaches and consultants, then subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable, right? And yeah, awesome.